We worked a bit on the card model. Some things are still missing. For example, we never display our card, and we also never really, we're not able to delete an item from the card. But let's ignore that for the moment. Let's instead focus on editing a product. We got the added product EJS file. And in the end, what I want to do in there is I want to render the same form I have for add product. The difference will be that I want to pre-populate that form with the values of the product I want to edit. Now, if I'm using the same HTML code in the end, it would make sense to reuse the same template. If you ever plan on using a different one, it doesn't, but here it makes sense. So what I'll do is I'll take my add product EJS code and move it into added product because I find this to be the more generic name, and I'll delete the add product EJS file. So now we just have added product EJS with all the HTML code in there that we need. Now, first of all, that means that I have to load that file in admin.js when we load get add product. I no longer need the add product path here, I need added product. Here only. The path down there can stay add product because that is what we use for highlighting a certain navigation item. By the way, we can get rid of these additional information pieces. So now this should still work. If I click on add product, I still see that form. So that's looking good. However, for editing a product, I now also want to have a route and I want to use that same view. So I'll copy that route here and add it maybe below post add product to keep these two together. And here I will have get added product as an action name. And I also want to render added product here. The difference is that here I plan on passing in my product information. But the problem is, of course, how should I reach this controller action? And my idea is that since I already have my added button here, if I click that, I don't want to call added product like this. I also want to add the ID of the product I want to add it. So if I grab a real ID from my products.json file, like this one, then I would have that in the URL. And if I load this, now I want to have the form pre-populated with the data for this product. And if I hit the save button, I of course don't want to create this product, but simply edit the existing one. Now, this means that I need two things. The ID, I need to pass that, and the information that I want to edit a product instead of create it. Well, if we go to our admin routes, we can add a new route, first of all, this added product route here with the ID, and you learned how that works actually. You can add a new route here, get route will be at slash, and then here the slash admin is available for all routes in the admin.js file anyways, as you know. So it's just added product and then the ID, and again, this is a variable, a dynamic path segment indicated with a colon. And then we can load the admin controller and there the get added product action we just added. So this is step number one. And actually, we now already can go to our admin.js controller. And here, we obviously know that we want to edit a product. So what we can do is we can pass an additional information field to our view editing and set this to true maybe, so that we can check this with the if condition to find out, for example, if upon clicking that save button, we should try to add the product and send a request to that route, or try to edit it and send it to a different route. But let's say we want to get an additional confirmation by ensuring that people have to pass us a so-called query parameter in the URL. A query parameter can be added to any URL by adding a question mark and then a key value pair separated by an equal sign, like added equals true. And you can have multiple query parameters by separating them with ampersands. So we could also have title equals new, for example. So this is possible, and this is so-called optional data. The path here, the route which gets reached, is determined by the part up to the question mark. So you don't need to add any information about query parameters you might get to your routes file. these paths are not affected. But you can always check for query parameters in your controllers. So here we can check if const edit mode, if this is set by going to our request, and there will be a query object. This is also created and managed by express.js. And you can access your data here by simply trying to access the keys you got in your query parameters. So for this query parameter that was added, you can check for added. This would be your key. So I can try to access added here, and only if this is set somewhere in the list of query parameters, which can be separated with ampersands as I mentioned, if this is set, then I will get the value which is set. So now I would have true in edit mode. And if I don't have it, if I don't find it, I'll simply have undefined, which conveniently is also treated as false in a Boolean check. So we can then pass edit mode here, and now we only enter edit mode if this is set. And therefore we could also check if not edit mode, and then simply redirect. Now this is kind of a redundant thing here to do, to be honest, because actually here we already know that we want to edit the product. But I want to show you how you can use query parameters to set optional information, pass additional information. Often this is also used for something like tracking users, or for example, for keeping a certain filter the user set on a page. Here, I'll use it to explicitly set that edit mode and redirect otherwise. So now I extract this and try to load this. And therefore, if I now save this and I connect my newly created action here with the route, as I already did it here, if I now reload this page with the dynamic segment set and the query parameter added, then I land on this add product page, which is incorrect. I need to change that path. But that means that I don't get redirected, so I made it in there, and edit mode should be set to true. Now we can also set the path here to edit product to make sure that this is not highlighted here. Instead, I want to have no highlighted section, and this will not be because I have no check in my navigation where I would look for this specific path. And I'll set the page title also to edit product for this route. So now if I reload this, this looks better. And as a next step in the next lecture, I now want to use the information that I know that I'm in edit mode in my view to pre-populate this with product information, and then also to change the button caption and the button action.